Can't believe this season is only 6 episodes. I want more. Especially after we got confirmation that Desmond is using nanotechnology thinking machines.
You're talking about a thinking machine on a nanoscale.
And this episode, we learned the origins of the fear is the mind slayer quote. So let's break it all down in this video. I want to start off with the birth of Desmond Hart, but more specifically his lineage. The fact that he's half Atreides and half Harkonnen. The Sisterhood's thinking machine AI, Aniru, confirmed to Tula and Valia that the combination of Atreides and Harkonnen bloodline gives Tula's unborn child, aka Desmond, potential for great power. This is later confirmed with Desmond, but also over 10,000 years later with Paul Atreides. We know that Paul Atreides, aka the Lisan al-Gaib, is half Harkonnen and half Atreides. But to me, what's really interesting about Desmond's case is only Tula, Valia, and Aniru, their thinking machine, knew about Desmond's lineage. However, we learn later on in the episode that Desmond was sought out and experimented on by thinking machines. But the thing is, how did the thinking machine know about Desmond? And one of the flashbacks this episode, when Valia is showing Tula and some of the other sisters the AI thinking machine, Aniru, Tula brings up the point that can they trust the thinking machine? Because they almost wiped out the entire human race during the war against the thinking machines, aka the Butlerian Jihad. And young Valia assures her that Aniru is cut off from other thinking machines. Tula doesn't trust it, and I think it's with good reason, because to me, that's the only way the thinking machines could ever know about Desmond, is if Aniru told them about it. Because as far as Valia knows, Desmond died as a child, and Tula, outside of trusting Sister Francesca with the secret, never told another soul about it. But if Valia was wrong, and Aniru is connected to the AI hive mind known as Omnius, it all starts to make sense now. But don't worry, we're going to talk about Omnius a little later, because I believe that is ultimately the villain of this entire series. So don't forget to click that subscribe button to help win the war against the thinking machines. But first, I want to talk about the virus inside of Desmond. This episode confirmed that it is AI nanotechnology that's causing this virus. Similar to how Mother Raquel talked about the Omnius plague in the previous episode. And now we see how it starts to tie together with the ultimate villain being Omnius, the thinking machine hive mind from the Butlerian Jihad. We saw how the thinking machines altered Desmond's eye to create the virus in the first place, infusing him with some sort of microtechnology, and that's how he's able to spread the virus. We learned that the virus itself is a physical contagion, which means that the Sisterhood can fight it, since the virus feeds off the fear section of your amygdala and then attacks you from your meridian system. Remember, the Sisterhood's training is in Prada Bindu, which is supreme control over your nerves and your muscles, right down to your molecular system, making the Sisterhood able to modify themselves on a microscopic level. And that's how, for the most part, they're able to fight off most viruses. However, this virus being nanotechnology means it's not your typical bioweapon. It's controlled by an AI hive mind, which is why when Sister Nazir tried to fight off the virus, it was able to adapt. Because she's human, she has her limitations, but this being an AI thinking machine, it's able to process a lot faster and therefore operate at a higher speed. And once it starts to overwhelm you with fear, it feeds off the energy of your amygdala and eventually overpowers you, making this virus nigh unstoppable. However, the biggest revelation this episode is the fact that we learned the origins of the fear is the mind killer quote. Arguably one of the most famous quotes in all of fiction, but definitely the most famous quote in Dune. The quote, "I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn to the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain." We learned the origins of this, and that's how you counteract the nanotechnology virus. We saw Mother Valia and Desmond go head to head, and he infected her with the virus. Even though Valia is the mother superior and the most powerful sister, with total mastery of Prada Bindu, the virus would have overtaken her had it not been for Tula guiding her, telling her to allow the fear to pass through her. And that's how Valia is able to defeat the virus, by allowing the fear to pass through her, evolving past the emotion of fear, thus rendering the power source of the virus moot, and then she's able to overpower it as the thinking machine doesn't have enough energy to computate as fast as she's evolving. This confrontation between Valia and Desmond kind of low-key spoils the ending of the civil war between Valia and Dorothea, because we know Valia is gonna win. And here's how we know Valia is gonna win. It comes from the same fear as the mind killer quote. because 10,000 years later, when Pa is being tested by the Mother Superior, the test is to overcome his fear or she will kill him. And we see his mother Jessica reciting the quote. The only way they know about fear being the mind killer is if Valia shares that information with them. We know Valia is more than willing to share information with the Sisterhood, because while she was the first one to actually learn the voice, she taught it to Tula, Francesca, and Kasha. We know if you swear allegiance to Valia, she will take you under her wing and teach you her methods. So we see from that one confrontation and the birth of the fear is the mind killer quote, how Valia eventually wins the civil war against Dorothea, who has now possessed Lila. Not only has she possessed Lila, she actually went and exposed Valia's truths. That's how we learned that Valia taught her other sisters the voice, because they used it against Dorothea's followers and they gave them a choice. This is why I want to ask you guys a question. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think that Valia slaughtered them or they chose to take their own life? Because when they used the voice on them, they didn't tell them to kill themselves. They told them to make a choice. Follow me or kill yourself, and they chose to kill themselves. So is it really Valia's fault? Let me know in the comment section below. There's another Sisterhood ability I want to talk about before I jump into Omnius and what it could mean for season 2 of Dune Prophecy. And that ability is the Sisterhood's ability to imprint. We learned that Francesca imprinted on the Emperor and he can't harm her. I believe this ability to imprint is another form of mastery over Prada Bindu. Having supreme control over your body gives you supreme control over your pheromones, which I believe is how Francesca got Havako to fall in love with her and why he can't bring himself to kill her even if he wanted to, because with manipulation of her own body and the ability to read other people, she was able to create the most desirable pheromone in which Havako himself physically can't respond to in a negative way. He couldn't kill her even if he wanted to. And I'm gonna say, I feel sorry for the Emperor because his entire life was a sham. Even before he was born, he was being manipulated by the Sisterhood. And ultimately, the one time he got to choose his own destiny was to kill himself. So he realistically lived a sad existence. But let's talk about the final scene where Mother Superior Valia tells the princess the path to our enemy begins here. This enemy that she's referring to is Omnius, the AI thinking machine. It's just that she doesn't know it yet. And you might be asking, who exactly is Omnius? Think of Omnius as the central intelligence to all thinking machines, where every thinking machine is connected and they share their information with one hive machine mind. Even though every thinking machine is its own separate AI, they all ultimately connect to the one hive mind, which the humans thought they destroyed during the Butlerian Jihad. However, it's clear that Omnius has survived and it's still connected to the other thinking machines. That's how it was able to get the information about Desmond from Iniru in the first place, and why it sought Desmond out to create Desmond as a bioweapon. Not only did it create Desmond as a bioweapon, it also used the Sisterhood's same tactics to manipulate the Emperor, which it could have only learned from Iniru. Using Iniru's knowledge of the Sisterhood and their methodology, the thinking machines were able to learn and adapt. So instead of an all-out war against humans, which the thinking machines lost last time in the Butlerian Jihad, they're trying to manipulate humanity the same way the Sisterhood is doing. So you see the thinking machines are adapting. One of the key reasons that the thinking machines lost the Butlerian Jihad was because of Vorian Atreides. Think of Vorian Atreides as the perfect combination of what it means to be a human and a thinking machine in one. His father, Agamemnon, was a Titan, the human thinking machine hybrid, which eventually gave birth to Vorian Atreides, who is the progenitor of the current House Atreides, and more importantly, is the forefather of Desmond Hart. So the thinking machine Omnius knew that he lost because of Vorian, but now that Vorian's offspring Desmond has the perfect combination with the Harkonnens, it used them as a way to spread this bioweapon and as a way to grasp power from the Empire. The main theme of Dune has always been human evolution surpassing the need for thinking machines or computers. We saw that Mother Superior Valia was able to do this by evolving past the human emotion known as fear, and therefore able to combat the virus, which he's eventually going to teach the other sisters. And the final scene of the season finds her on Arrakis. We know when you're on Arrakis, you're surrounded by spice, and spice only helps but evolve humans further. It's not lost on me that Kieran Atreides is also on Arrakis with her. We know him to be Paul Atreides' ancestor. This is probably why Paul and later the God Emperor's abilities are so much more augmented than Desmond's. That's because their ancestors are being introduced to spice even earlier than they were. But the real question is, will Valia know that Omnius is behind this entire thing? Because she said she saw the thinking machines experimenting on Desmond, but she couldn't see who's behind it. Remember, she is the Mother Superior of the Sisterhood, so she is a master of Prada Bindu. So if it were someone human, she would be able to detect another human presence. It's the fact that she was unable to detect any human presence. We know from the beginning of the episode that it's a machine mind processing behind the virus. So Valia doesn't know this, and she won't know this because Tula got arrested, and she won't be able to share that information with her just yet. And now that Dorothea has taken over Lila's body and destroyed Aneru, they have no thinking machines on their side now. So it's really going to be a war between humanity and thinking machines once again. But also Mother Superior Valia being on Arrakis 10,000 years before Paul Atreides, is this when they're going to start spreading the legend of the Lisan al-Gaib? Because we know by the time Paul Atreides gets here, the Muad'Dib is the Fremen religion. From the one Fremen we actually saw this season, she never talked about the Muad'Dib or her religion. So it's safe to say that it hasn't been established yet. So is this when Valia also sets the stage for that as well? I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section below. But guys, that's it for Dune Prophecy this season. Let me know, guys, did you actually like this season? I really enjoyed Dune Prophecy this season. It surprised the hell out of me, and it's for me one of the best shows that came out this year. But I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section below. And guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, peace.